Hey everyone, welcome to the Discover Virginia podcast. I'm Joseph Trahan, your host for the #1 video podcast in Virginia, where we explore the rich history, vibrant culture, and iconic businesses that make our Commonwealth truly special and worth talking about. So get ready as together we discover Virginia. Hello everyone. Today I have the pleasure of introducing you all to Jeni, owner photographer of Jennifer Emma Photography. Jeni, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah. So for our listeners, today we're going to be chatting with Jeni about her faith-centered family photography services that she offers here in the Virginia Beach area. And we'll also be covering everything from newborn photography to child photography and how she works to capture those special moments with their parents and the children during those shoots. Jeni, would love to kick off the conversation today and ask how you came to join us in the Virginia Beach area, and of course, what role faith and photography has played throughout your journey so far.
Oh gosh. Long before coming to Virginia, I picked up a camera about 12 years ago and thought it was something I would get into pretty seriously. And then I just got wrapped up in a couple jobs and the chaos of life and ended up becoming a flight attendant and moving from Washington down to San Diego, California. Did not pick up the camera again besides my smartphone for about 10 years. And in San Diego, I met my husband who is active duty, and we ended up moving here to Virginia Beach over 7 years ago. And starting a family here, it's kind of hard for me to still go to work a whole lot. I have to commute across the country to go to my flight attendant job, which I am still actively doing, but very rarely at this point. It's just a really long commute, and my husband's career is taking priority because he doesn't have a choice of dropping a schedule every month like I do. So we had to figure out something that was going to work with a low overhead cost to get started up, and for me to do something on the side to both help our family but still maintain something I'm passionate about and feel like I'm letting out my creative and just something I can help other people with, but also help our family with at the same time. And the only thing that always came to mind was photography because I used to love it so much. I've always been passionate about taking pictures. I'm always the person who offers to take a picture for somebody just out in public. And I want to get the right angles and make sure that it reflects whatever they're trying to get in that image and that setting. Yeah. And I figured I could make a little business out of it. And then the only way to go about starting a business, my husband and I were really sure that we were not going to do it the normal way, where you just kind of keep your personal life out of it. We made it very clear that God is the center of our marriage. God is the center of our family. And if we're going to do a business and start it from the ground up, we're going to make sure that God is at the forefront. So putting our faith in this process has been huge. We pray over it constantly. I mean, I have my community in my church, my small groups who are just these powerhouse women who are praying with me as well, because it's really scary putting yourself out there. And then also personal beliefs out there on a public platform is setting yourself up for people to give you their 2 cents on how they think you should do business and what you shouldn't do. And I don't really care if people don't like the way I'm going about it because I know I'm supposed to put God at the forefront. So.
Sure. Absolutely. Well, Jeni, thank you for that, sharing that. And of course, that's what we want to see from our business owners. We want to see folks who are rooted in, a belief system or rooted in, good values and principles that not only support a viable and healthy business, but also give people in the community an opportunity to pick from different service providers and different options. And speaking of the photography side, Jeni, when it comes to, we're going to start at a base level here, a baseline of what to look for when planning for family photos in general and the type of services folks should expect and the costs associated with them. Can you give us your professional opinion? And I know we didn't cover this too much in the intro, but you have a website, you have done hundreds of shoots. You're very well versed in photography. It's not just a new hobby, right? Although that's where it started from, you are
Yeah.
very well suited for your craft, and I will vouch for you on that too. Just seeing some of the work you've done. So let's hit that baseline. What should folks expect?
I appreciate that so much. I do have to correct you. I've not done hundreds of shoots. I am still very new in the photography world.
Well, you
Uh,
you got to count your kiddos, right? I
yeah,
count
well,
those.
then I've done
You're
thousands.
editing those, right? I would say hundreds of edited photos that,
Oh, absolutely. Thousands of
yeah,
edited photos. Yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
Don't
Uh,
undersell yourself. I won't. Won't.
I
Not
appreciate
here. Not
that.
here. Yeah.
It's yeah, it is. It's all a learning process. I take every day as an opportunity to learn something new, and I have a very low cost of doing business at the moment. I understand why photographers charge as much as they do. I don't believe I have earned that spot. I also never intend to fully charge an astronomical amount for my work because I'm so passionate about it. And the moment I'm losing that passion, I probably shouldn't do it anymore.
Right.
And I believe that way about everything. I believe that way about being a flight attendant. If I don't like that job, I'll stop it. And so, as for photography goes, if people take the joy out of it, then I'm not just going to charge them more and be a disgruntled photographer. I'll just make sure that I don't overwork myself and overload my schedule so much so I can continue doing it with the passion and joy that I have in providing these incredible images for families later on. So, my cost of doing business is not the standard. Please don't relate it to other photographers. They charge what they need to in order to cover their monthly overhead cost. And because I'm running a studio out of my home, and because I had quite a bit of this equipment already, my overhead costs were really low, um, which allows me to start a lot more affordable in the beginning, which is really nice.
And
The
what does
first
that affordability price point
afford-
look like?
for a standard full family shoot where I'm spending 45 to 60 minutes, sometimes longer, depending if it's a family of six or more. It can take quite a
Right.
while to get everybody on the same page and to get photos with everybody looking. But about $250 total for, they'll probably get 50
Wow.
plus images. They'll have full rights to those images, and they'll be able to print them up to a 16 by 20 or larger with beautiful detail. And they they're going to get more than just family photos. They'll get child portraits, individual child portraits. They'll get just mom and dad portraits. Maybe mom and dad haven't had photos, just the two of them after having kids for so
Mhm.
many years. They'll get photos of the individual parent with the children, then the other parent with the children, and just a mixture of all sorts of combinations because children kind of feel like they get lost sometimes. I mean, I only grew up with three siblings, and then my family split, and then there were more siblings brought in. And so you kind of just feel like you're one of a bunch, right?
Yeah.
After a while growing up. And you just still want to feel like you're cherished with the parents. And so having just an individual child with mom and dad photo to put on their wall could be really important for those kids to know, hey, I'm still just me. And mom and dad love me all by myself. I'm not just one of four or one of five kids. I am loved and individual. And so I get to do a lot of kind of individual work for the kids in these family shoots, which is really fun, showing their personality, doing different kinds of portraits with them. And then I also offer, if they want to do prayer photos over each individual child to then put on the walls in their kids' room and let them always have a reminder that mom and dad are always praying over them individually. That's my favorite thing in the world. So I hope
Wow.
everybody loves that.
Yeah, that's incredible, Jenny, and I appreciate you highlighting that because photography, much like in the world of real estate where I'm at, folks offer a wide array of services and prices. And one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on the show, in addition to having young children myself and also the faith element, is just the unique aspects and artistic view that you have when it comes to, as you mentioned, capturing that individuality and having that faith element should people decide that they want to have that included in the photography. So I do have three main sections we'll be diving into next, Jenny, just to kind of keep us on track when it
Perfect.
comes to the type of photos folks can get. So we're going to be covering newborn photos, child photography, and then of course the family and children photography with mom or dad and
Yes.
mom and dad
Yeah,
with their kiddos as well, because that adds an extra layer of individuality to the conversation that I think can get lost if you just hire any old photographer, you know.
for sure, for sure. Somebody needs to love kids to capture them, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, first one for you for newborns. When it comes to newborn photos, Jenny, can you share the significance of capturing a baby's first moments and the emotions that they invoke?
I appreciate that you are asking me about newborn photography. I am not providing that service just yet.
Not
Um,
yet. Okay.
Not
Perfect.
yet. So we can talk about I can tell you why I'm not, which I think is important, and I think it's important when people do search for their newborn photographer to know, whether or not they are trained and insured, and that they truly know how to safely position newborn babies. And until I have that complete training, I will not be offering that. Um, I just I care too much about the little babies. And I need to make sure that I have the full training, even though I have two kids of my own, and I positioned them tons when they were little
No,
babies.
that's
There's a lot of
a great
dangerous
point.
maneuvers,
Yeah.
so you want to make sure that you're doing photoshopping correctly to hold their head up right, and that you're taking the hands off. And now they see just a baby that's sitting there perfect like this, but it could be closing off an airway if they weren't actually being propped up. So just
Mm.
make sure that your photographer is trained and well versed in newborn photography before hiring them.
Very, very important and great tip, Jenny. I didn't even think about that. So I really
Yeah,
appreciate you sharing that as well.
absolutely.
Just knowing who you're working with, especially with someone as fragile as a newborn.
Yes.
So that will bring us into our first category here. Wink, wink. Edit this part, Joe. Child photography. Jenny, what techniques do you use to capture genuine smiles from children? Or if they don't smile and they might be a little shy, capturing their true self.
That depends if we are here at the studio at my house or if we are out in nature. Either way, I have a bag of tricks. I have different little squeakies. I have baby rattlers, anything to get their attention at me. Um, my very good friend had given me a great tip about using a cat feather toy to kind of reach out at them with a little jingle on it, and it makes kids kind of laugh and act like they've been tickled, and it's very sweet. And so you can then capture the photo right away of their natural, happy, laughing reaction, which is the best. That's what we
Yeah.
want.
Right.
Sometimes you really have to bring them out of their shell. And so giving them an opportunity to play with their environment. If you're outside and it's sandy or there's grass, let the kids play, let them crawl around, let them touch the surfaces and feel more comfortable with you. I never assume that a child is going to be comfortable with me as a stranger right away.
Right.
Anytime that I meet a new family, I want to walk a little bit while we get to this scenario, while we kind of go over what the plan will be and let them ease into it because I'm shoving a camera in their face. That can't be comfortable. So I
Right.
want them to know that I'm a safe person. I'm going to go at their speed. If they need a break or a snack, I always bring snacks on my shoots. If they just want to do their own thing, I'll just capture them in their natural habitat and let them kind of run wild and climb all over mom and dad or run around and just capture the joy any way possible.
Wow, what a wonderful experience. And it's definitely something where child photography is unique because I think it has a layer of innocence to it
It
that,
does.
other adult photography, regardless of, it being a couple or individual, is somewhat lost just because of the age difference or life experience or what have you. I'm
Yes, yes,
curious for you,
absolutely.
Jenny, what aspects of a child photography shoot do you most enjoy? And of course, what are some of the elements that, regardless of the conditions that the kids are in or the state of the family unit, whether it might be a rush to morning or one that is outside, it
Yeah,
feels a little
yeah.
chaotic. What's some of those values you're always looking to capture or hoping to capture during those shoots?
I really want the simple things. I want if the child feels uncomfortable and you notice that they grab mom's leg, I want to capture that because that's where they went to for their safe space. And I want mom to remember that. If they are feeling independent and feeling a little rambunctious, I want to be able to capture their fun expressions. So portraits, absolute favorite. I don't think I'll ever get tired of doing child portraits, just a nice up close quality image, and then asking them to do different faces and expressions, and then letting the mom and dad receive all of those, because those expressions might go away with time. They might stop doing over expressive facial expressions because they've been told that it's goofy or unacceptable. But just remember the joy and the innocence of them when they're really young and they haven't had the world beating down on them for years and years. I just
Yeah.
love capturing all of that, the free, raw, vulnerable moments of the little ones. So,
It is truly a special moment for sure. And speaking of special moments, I want to shift the conversation over to the parent and the child photography next. I know you had mentioned, the child grabbing their leg or perhaps, acting out or having an outburst that maybe, capturing an expression they might not always have. For me as a parent, I'm very type A. I'm a planner. I'm sure a lot of parents out there can relate to that.
yeah,
If
same.
I'm gonna do a shoot, I'm having not hired a photographer yet because I'm like, I'll have my camera. I want it a certain way.
I
For
get it.
those parents who need a little bit of help, like myself, letting go, what tips do you have to prepare their children for a photo shoot, and what expectations should they have or not have for themselves and their kids in those
Oh,
environments?
this is easy because I am type A, and I used to stress out to the max for a photo shoot, for the very rare photo shoot, because they're so expensive. It was hard for us to prioritize that. So we would just set up a
Yeah,
tripod and do our own photos eventually. Um, but adding the stress to it makes people just not even want to do it, right?
right.
So a low stress or the stress-free photography experience is what I want to be able to offer. I realize that with the more kids in the family, it's harder for mom specifically to relax. But if dad is type A, then it's going to be a little troubling too. Um, I want you to know, just bring a baby wipe, make sure that they have a clean face, preferably that they don't have any gum in their mouth or a phone in their pocket if they're a little bit older. And that if they had any kind of frosting or a popsicle that weekend, maybe don't do it the day of the photo shoot so that they don't have food dye on their face. And truly,
Yeah,
that's all that they need, because they are not meant to be perfect creatures out there. They are supposed to be wild and excited, and they can be grumpy too. We can bring it all out. But mom and dad should not worry about the chaos. I'm used to the chaos, and photographers should be used to the chaos in
sure.
family photos. But we've had some interesting experiences where it felt really awkward and almost like we had to pose ourselves. And that's not fun. So I like to bring this in to the experience where I will help place you in a position and then let you move around as a family, connect with each other, interact with each other. If a kid wants to get up and play, that's fine. Just mom and dad, look at me, or look at each other, or look at a kid. As
Yeah,
long as we're in this tiny little world I'm trying to capture, and that you're not looking off at a phone or something, then it's going to be beautiful. It's really
that's so sweet.
simple. Just keep
Yeah.
your eyes either on the camera, on each other, or on one of the kids, and let the kids be, and just try to smile.
So I'm curious then, do you have a balance, or maybe there isn't one, between like the staged photos versus like just the candid ones where everyone's just kind of doing their own thing or being in the moment?
I try my hardest to get posed and candid, absolutely. I think it's a general consensus that photographers live for the candid photos.
Mhm.
We just want to capture the really beautiful raw moments. But sometimes you need that structure for the perfect photo that mom or dad or both had in mind of their family at that stage. And if you have to do a head swap, you have to do a head swap. That's okay, just
Yeah.
to get at least one perfect posed photo. But truly, ideally, these kids all have different personalities, and you might have a sneak attack in there where they do a silly face. Well, they're going to get that photo too. I want them to see all of their personalities of their kids coming out, and I will try really hard to get at least a couple really well done posed photos. But the candids are where it's at.
Yeah.
That's the good stuff.
Right. I'm curious, Jenny, for your end in the research that you do when preparing for, both in studio and out in the community, are there any current trends you're seeing in the parent child photography realm that are worth mentioning or at least notable?
gosh, current trends. I don't even know if I would call these trends. The motherhood and fatherhood minis, those are huge. I will offer those year round forever because they're so enjoyable and they're so fun. I don't know if I would call that a trend or if that's just minis in
I think I
general.
would. I mean, minis are, I think they're in and of themselves a trend. Do you mind breaking down that term and what
Yeah,
people can expect when they get something like a father
absolutely.
or mother mini?
Yes, for sure. I do have a full section on my website for just mini sessions, and it will be either a fatherhood mini, a motherhood mini, which would just be mom and the kids or dad and the kids, and either in the studio or outside locations. And there's a price difference in that because studio you can do anytime, and then outside is preferable that it would be golden hour, so sunrise or sunset time, which isn't exactly easy for all people to do. So,
Yeah.
um, oh,
I'm gonna
thank
go
you.
ahead and throw it up on the screen real
That,
quick. That way we
that's
can have
perfect.
some context. Yeah.
That's my husband and daughter right there. They are part of my models, my first employees. And so I have the studio mini or the outdoor mini. I also have a full family mini and then an extended family mini. And this just goes up in the number of people and what is provided. So immediate family is just the mom, dad, all the kids, obviously. The extended family can be everybody in your family. And it's just a really quick snippet of a full length. I have all of these offered in full session packages as well. The price goes up quite a bit because
Sure.
what is offered in them is um, a lot more extensive. For the
Right.
minis, I don't promise child portraits or individual family portraits in, let's say, the extended family mini. But if I have time and if they're being really compliant, the kids are working out really well. I mean, I would throw them in if I have the time to do it. But for the mini, it's really hard for me to condense down my mini sessions because I just meet families and I just want to keep going. I
Yeah.
do
You're already
realize
you're already there. They're already cute and dressed up,
I
right?
know, I know,
It's
but
hard. Yeah.
that is probably the hardest part for me because I still just love it. I love capturing that perfect photo, and I hope I never lose this. I was told that I will never ever get over the joy I feel and the nerves, but the joy I feel when I send over the digital album and I hear back from my clients on if they loved it and how they loved it and what it means to their family. And I just think that
Yeah.
that's what's going to keep me going forever. So sorry to get off topic there.
No, that's great. That's what we're talking about here. We're talking to families. We're talking to those folks who are, maybe considering those things. Uh, how have parent-child photography styles evolved over the years? I'm curious because, like, back in the day, taking old church directory photos, as an example, roll your shoulders back, half smile, don't be making any goofy faces. You got one shot, one opportunity. How has that changed or evolved, to where we're
God,
at modern day?
I think this is not just a me thing. This is anybody that does family photography, but we want to see the personalities. We want to see the interactions.
Yeah.
If you have a son who is really cuddly with mom, get cuddly photos with mom. If he's really wild and likes to wrestle with dad, get the wild wrestling photos with dad. Get some sweet ones too, but show who they are at that stage in that season because it is so insane how fast it flies by. They're not always going to want to jump on dad's back, or maybe they will, but they might be too big eventually.
Right.
So capture it and let them mess up your hair in the photo shoot. I'll get it out of your face. It's okay. Just sit there in the moment with them and let the kids interact the way that they feel comfortable. And it's not stuffy. They don't have to sit there perfect. I don't mind. I just want them to sit up. Try
Yeah.
not to slouch too much. I will direct their posing a bit, but then get comfortable. If it feels really awkward, move.
Sure, sure. Jenny, this has been a wonderful conversation. We appreciate you jumping on the show today. I know you have to get back to photo shoots and editing, so we
Thank
have
you.
one final section for you,
Yes.
and that is the red carpet section where you get to, plug any final message or word for the audience. But in order to get there, you have to go through some rapid fire questions. Should you
Oh,
choose to
goodness.
accept this rapid fire, then you get the red carpet. Is this a challenge you would like to accept?
Of course.
Absolutely. Wonderful, wonderful. All righty. First rapid fire question.
I'm ready.
What camera are you currently shooting with?
Oh gosh. Okay, don't judge me. I'm waiting until after my first year to upgrade, but it is a Canon T7. It's an EOS Rebel.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with the EOSs. They're great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right?
And now if you said like iPhone 11, I'd be, might have to edit a lot more. No, I'm just kidding. Love it. Love it. Second question. How important is natural light when you're shooting outside?
Outside, it's everything.
Yeah.
There's nothing more important. I don't know how to use artificial light outside yet. I'm sure I'll have to eventually when I move on to doing weddings and something larger. But uh, for right now, I just need all that natural light.
Yeah, absolutely. And being on the East Coast here in the Virginia Beach area, coastal tidewater region, I'm saying
Yeah.
all that for the keywords, Jenny,
Yeah. Well,
for the SEO. It's a great place. It's a great place, right? The
it really is.
757, the Suffolk, Hampton, Newport News, Chesapeake, Virginia Beach area. Yeah.
Absolutely.
When
Yes.
it comes to you know, folks want to do something outside. Maybe it's summer, maybe it's fall, and they want to get outdoors. Obviously, they're going to call you. You're going to tell them, what the pricing is, and it's super affordable and you're super great service. And then they're probably going to ask you, well, Jenny, where do you recommend we go? We're not too familiar with the area. What are some of those top few places? And I'll put a disclaimer here. No, don't go there without Jenny. Call Jenny first and be respectful of the space.
I appreciate that so much.
Where do you like to recommend folks go when they shoot photos with you?
Obviously, we're in Virginia Beach. We want to be by the water. So
Yeah.
Sandbridge, Chicks Beach, the ocean front, if we can be under a pier, or if it is in fact golden hour. Open, broad daylight with the sun just beaming down is a little bit too harsh for my taste, and so I
Yeah.
prefer it to be golden hour. I'm up for the sunrise golden hour, which is the hour after sunrise, and I am up for the regular golden hour, the hour before sunset. Those are the best times of day always, and if it's cloudy, we could do any time of day. But just think about sunrise and sunset for planning your family photos and get the kids kind of acquainted on their sleep schedules if you must to make that
Yes.
work.
Absolutely. Jenny, last rapid fire question for you. When it comes to the leisure side of the city and enjoying Virginia Beach area, which of the Virginia beaches is your favorite to visit?
Oh man, which is my favorite? Well, not the ocean front. That one's just too crowded for me. We go to Dam Neck a lot.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, Dam Neck or Chicks. Chicks Beach it's crowded, but it's still a little bit less chaotic for
It's
me.
not as crowded. I mean,
Yeah.
Chicks Beach is that's
Yeah.
that's local. That's local
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
Dam Neck is a whole new level of local. I mean, that's security and military and everything. It's a
Yes.
military base.
It's also
Beach.
really
So,
convenient, very short drive for us. So
oh yeah,
yeah.
absolutely, love it, Jenny. Well, you've made it to the end of the rapid fire question section. Thank you for running the gambit. Congratulations, you've made it. Jenny, this is your time to share any final words or messages you want to leave the audience with. The floor is all yours.
Oh, thank you. Um, I'm just so grateful to have this opportunity because this business is referral based for the most part, and this has to be a God thing. So thank you so much for reaching out to me. If anybody sees this and they want a photographer who puts who they are, what they stand for, and what they are convicted by out there in the open, and just wants to work with you wholeheartedly. And if you want to talk about Jesus, we can talk about Jesus. I would love to work with your family. I would love to capture these moments for you for years to come. And specifically, I am hoping to be somebody that you think of if you ever want to have praying photos taken of you and your family, praying over your children each individually, printing those out and putting them up on the walls in your kids' room. It's something that just seems so powerful to me. It came to me when I was launching my business, and I've just been overwhelmed by the feeling that this is what my niche might end up being. And I mean, I have chills right now just telling you about it. So if you want prayer photos of your family with your kids in the center, and they can grow up seeing that you are praying over them constantly as their mom and dad, and let them see that, let them believe it, let them see that you're intentional about it. Let me be the person to capture it for you. I would love that opportunity. And my website is on the bottom, jenniferemmaphotography.com. I have jennifer.emma.photo on Instagram, I think. Yes. And Jennifer Emma Photography on Facebook. And I would just love to speak with anybody that has watched this to the end. So thanks again. And thank you, Joe. I appreciate you so much.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, Jenny. Go ahead and hit the like button. Go check out the links in the description below to see all the great work Jenny's doing and also a wonderful service at an affordable price. That's what everyone is always asking in all the Facebook groups. And when people are DMing me, what's their fun to do? What's their affordable do in the Virginia Beach, coastal Virginia area? This is it right here, folks. Hit up Jenny, get some family photos, and go out there and enjoy summer 2024. Jenny, this has been great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Joe.